nothing left to lose now. Everything to prove now. Long as I'm alive, I'ma fight back. My fire never cools down. I'm about to catch fire. Yeah, I'm about to catch fire. Get ready for the new me. Get ready for the new me. Try to hold me down and I go higher. Try to put me out and I go wilder. I'm a fighter, a survivor. Stand back when I catch fire.
Great to have your company for the WSL Post Show here at the GWM Sydney Surf Pro, presented by Rip Curl. Another big day of competition and a very close heat to finish things off for the women. And we're getting those quarterfinals set. They're looking unbelievable. Ronnie Blakey with Shannon Hughes. Richie Lovett. Shannon, your thoughts on another tricky day of competition for the competitors?
Oh, it was pretty stressful, honestly, and I think it really tested a lot of their mental capacity today. Knowing it was going to be a challenge to find the right waves, they had to perform. A lot of surfers falling in moments that were extremely critical, which made it, I think, stressful for us as viewers, stressful for coaches and family members. But to see the ones that really were able to tap into it and find some good ones was pretty phenomenal.
We got into that head-to-head competition, Rich, and we saw some great heats unfold. The women's quarterfinals taking shape, as I mentioned. What did you make of that last heat?
That was it was stressful to watch, as Shannon was saying. You know, it was a bit of a seesaw battle and some really good manoeuvres laid down. I just love that man-on-man format now in this Challenger Series as we get to the pointier end. It really emulates the Championship Tour format. And, yeah, it's been exciting from Heat 1 to the end of the day. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, that head-to-head competition is awesome to see. And it was Nikki van Dijk getting the edge in the last heat of the day. Let's hear from the winner. She's with Stace.
Thanks, Ron. Nikki, you mentioned it's been a big day for the kids, but it's been a big day for the big kids too.
It has. 3 sessions today. Yeah, I was feeling it out there. I actually had an acai right before my heat, and I had the biggest stitch, and I was like, oh no, just go, go, go. So, yeah, that was a nail biter, that one. It's a bit of a slow start, but yeah, pulled it together at the end. I don't know how.
How is it coming off a heat where you're dropping excellent scores and then coming into a bit of a shootout like that? How do you adjust?
Yeah, it was definitely pretty grindy. I watched Macy's heat, and yeah, there wasn't too many like surfable waves, so I just kind of wanted to get a corner with a bit of power, and yeah, I really struggled up until the end there. Even just that the 6 was kind of the only, good section I kind of felt like I had out there, and yeah, I'm just keen for tomorrow to come. That was really grindy, but stoked to make it through, and yeah, it was awesome to surf against Zali as well, because she's such a little feisty one. She's great to compete against, and yeah, wish her all the best because she's ripping.
Thanks for your time, Nikki. Well done.
Thanks, Stace. Yeah, she was surfing really good, Zali Kelly, on her road through to that finish. But Nikki van Dijk, she had a big day. She took some Grom surfing this morning. That was really cool to see their eyes light up when Nikki van Dijk took them into the lineup.
Yeah, it's such a special thing when those pros take that time with the next generation. We've heard a few of them speaking about it, even in their post-heat interviews, and I think those are those kids that we're going to see out here in the next couple of years. Yeah,
and Bonsoy had Julian Wilson down there as well, and he was signing foreheads. He was busy, Jules, down there. The kids were loving it. But let's dive into some of the biggest heats of the day. Luana Silva was looking fantastic again, but I want to look at this heat first. This was Alyssa Spencer up against Macy Callahan, and this was another heat that really could have gone either way. But Alyssa put the pressure on, dropping an excellent score in this one, Rich.
Yeah, it was an interesting heat in that manoeuvre there. I can't help but just get really excited about it every time I see that manoeuvre. Big energy at the finish of it. Macy sort of found a couple to grind her way back into the heat. And she had a fantastic heat this morning. Just went about getting the win, Macy, and then, one of the final heats of today. But Alyssa was just on an absolute tear.
Yeah, she had a really, I'd call it a shocking start to the Challenger Series for someone who surfed her way through the trials and got into the main event of a Championship Tour event just down at Bells Beach. She fell out of the draw so early on the Gold Coast, so that's a big turnaround for her.
It's huge. It's a huge result. And remembering even back to the 2019 season, she was a couple spots away from qualifying. She finished out number 10 on the Women's QS. She's been right there on the brink of it. Now, coming a little bit older into this competitive space, she's really going to be within that conversation, I think, come the end of the Challenger Series. finals.
Now, the next heat we're going to look at was a beauty. Kiala up against, who was it? Sawyer Lindblad. That was so good. I love Sawyer's surfing, but Kiala's just taken things to a whole new level here.
She had so many flares of Nikki Van Dijk within her surfing that heat that I literally turned around and was like, oh yeah, that was Nikki on a wave. And then I saw the scoreboard and went, wait, it was Kiala, which is incredible to just showcase the surfing that she's been doing, the work she's been putting in behind the scenes. And for her to put down a couple of big scores like that against a really powerful Californian in Sawyer who would surf any day like this at home at T Street, for her to go down to Kiala was a really a well-fought battle.
I just love this brand of surfing that these youngsters are bringing to the table here. It's that traditional element, but they're putting this new school flair to it. They're getting that little bit of release out of the tail. They're kicking the fins out and just spicing things up a bit, and it's really, really interesting. Look out, the future's bright.
Yeah, there's the numbers, 7.5, 7.13, Kiala. I think warming up at the perfect time of the contest. You know, you think about her run through this event, she's been posting some solid numbers, but that's kind of closing in on that excellent range, and she's going to be hard to beat as she moves through. Let's have a look at the quarterfinal bracket. Of course, we've still got 2 heats to get through in the round of 16 for the women, and they're unbelievable matchups. You don't want to miss them, but this is what we can look forward to. This is going to be so fun to watch. Luana, again, I mentioned it earlier, I loved her surfing today. She just looks so confident at the moment. It's great to see her bounce back after falling off the championship tour.
I think so. I think she's really taken it in stride, and she's going to come back even stronger this year. Looking at quarterfinal number 2, Sarah Baum out of South Africa, living here in Australia, up against Teresa Bonvalo. That's going to be a great matchup. Alyssa Spencer and Nikki Van Dijk. To me, they both have quite a similar approach to waves, so it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. And then between Katie Simmers, Kira Pinkerton, Sophie McCulloch, and Sarah Wakita, those are some really good
stacked
names to battle it out for that last quarterfinal.
Yeah, there's some really good action still to come in that bracket, and it's going to be interesting to see. It's really starting to sit well, isn't it, that whole bracket there, and the quarterfinals are shaping up really nicely.
They sure are. Let's have a look at some of the great heats that we watched unfold in the men's division today. Michael Rodrigues, he looks like one of the guys to beat. Rich, you said that you can picture this guy going on to the victory this year.
Yeah, I feel like he's really in that top 3 conversation when you think about favourites to win this event. But Brody, wow, this kid out of Hawaii, he's starting to make some really big statements with some very, very solid surfing. But just the speed of Emrod, it's kind of unmatched at the moment, and it's going to take a big effort to stop him.
Yeah, it's some celebrations too, but the big story ended up being the battle for second spot in that heat. And Ramsey was just looking so strong in the clash as well, but Brody found the edge, and the Grom is still alive in the mix and chasing down his biggest finish in a Challenger Series contest yet. But there's the numbers.
Big numbers.
Super impressive from Michael. Excellent heat score.
Yeah, that was some big heat totals there. And as you said, Ramsey, well, he was sort of one of the favourites too out of the goofy footers, definitely bringing that big power brand of surfing, and unfortunately just wasn't able to find that. Maybe a little mistake in wave choice during that heat.
The first head-to-head matchups for the men are coming together, and they don't get much better than this, Shannon.
It's going to be an incredible matchup. Rio Waida strung together some really good heats here. He's coming in hungrier than ever, wanting to get his name on. He also knows he's got that call-up to the Quicksilver Pro G-Land just next week as a wild card. But he's coming up against arguably the strongest competitor in the field right now in Michael Rodrigues.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that unfold.
Yeah, that's kind of Mercedes versus Ferrari type stuff. They're just going to be zipping all over the place, aren't they?
It's going to be awesome. Leonardo Fioravanti continues his amazing run through this contest. Talk about, you know, just switching gears and staying positive after falling off the CT. This guy's just come to Manly where he was victorious in 2020, and you know, he just keeps ramping things up with each performance.
He just went from strength to strength on those airs. It was crazy to see. And then to watch the rest of the guys in the lineup try and make that battle back to meet up with him. Jorgen Cousineau just, you know, going hard here. But then to really see those powerful airs was incredible.
Yeah, I look back to Leo, and I just feel like he's sort of just plugged in the final into Google Maps, and he's just making his way through there. He just seems to be doing it, not effortless, but he just seems to be on autopilot through these heats. He's just tapping into his own performance, and he's on. That
was another interesting heat in the battle for second position, and that's generally how these things unfold when someone else catches fire. But Matthias Hurdy, he was so close. There was nothing between him and Jorgen in the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, it could have gone either way, honestly. It was the battle for second place, no doubt.
I seriously thought Matthias Hurdy was going to be one of the ones challenging all the way through to the final. That was a bit of an upset, I felt, losing him in the event.
Yeah, so let's see what Leonardo is going to face in the round of 16. He's up against the Indonesian, Ketut Agus, and he was one of the great stories of today's action.
Yeah, he made a real comeback within that heat. It was incredible to see Ketut, and now he's coming up against a very strong Leo Fioravanti. I mean, these head-to-head matchups are looking really solid so far.
Well, we were lucky today. We saw the manoeuvre of the contest, and it is our Boost Mobile wave of the day. Ryan Callahan was on fire, Rich. He had a number of airs, but he found one of the biggest sections out there and threw this at us.
Oh, this was just such a huge, fully corked out. Have a look at how high the tail gets. The full rotation, well, almost about 270, maybe 300 degrees on the rotation. But Arkau built through that whole heat, started with a couple of rotations, and they just got bigger and bigger, and you can feel within the space of that heat, he just sucked in all this confidence, and I think that's just going to set him off maybe on the pathway to the final. We'll see. He's got a couple of roadblocks ahead of him.
Yeah, it was funny because I made the point that, you know Ryan wants it within, but sometimes you watch him compete and he kind of seems to lose some of that fire, and at the start of that heat, it felt like, you know, he was flaming out a little bit, and then just something clicked.
Yep. And
he started to make those moves stick. An unbelievable air, and if he can keep that up, he's going to be difficult to beat here. But let's have a look at some more highlights now. We'll dive into our top 5 moments today, and kicking things off, let's have a look at some more big airs and some huge moves laid down here.
Well, it basically turned into a bit of an air show this morning. Perfect surf for it. Just crispy little left-handers, and the onshore wind, that was Mickey Monabray, and this is just one of about 6 airs that Ryan Callahan did in his heat. He started to get the groove fingers going, but that was just a crazy tail high, full rotation, just so confident. And then, the Italian got started.
Right, that's what the crowd pays nothing to see here at the GWM Sydney Surf Pro. Big airs, and they'll get more of it as we roll through the contest. Number 4 was this buzzer beater moment for the Indonesian.
It was so huge for him. He had such a big requirement in front of him. He absolutely surfed his heart out, and then to come into that sort of reaction with his crew to find out the score on the sand, that's one of those moments he'll now be able to take and hopefully run through in the next round against Leo Fioravanti.
Sick. So sick. And Sarah Baum, her story is fantastic. A real veteran campaigning to get herself on the championship tour. Refuses to get knocked out here at the Sydney Surf Pro. Amazing victory over Molly Picklum yesterday. Dropped 8s on one of the toughest customers in the draw today.
Yeah, she started strong and then almost let it go for a little bit, but then came home with a vengeance.
And then Alyssa Spencer getting the job done this afternoon. Some high-impact moves, and this one fetched her an 8.33.
It's just finding that right wave, too, for her to hold on and then to be able to perform, to find that finishing section, to negotiate the backwash with it, to execute perfectly. Matt Myers there working behind her, and a whole class of Groms coming through this event. He's doing well with the group that he's got on his hands.
And our number 1 moment today, Jet Schilling just getting an absolute bomb here at Manly Beach, Rich, and taking it apart.
Oh, crikey, man. Look at this surfing. Just Machado-esque, a modern-day version of it. And you reckon he's pumped up and wants this? He is all about it. And obviously inspired by his little San Clemente posse. They're all down here. We saw Croz. He was down there egging on his team. So, yeah, those guys are going to be hard to stop too.
Mad little movement happening there.
Yeah.
But you've mentioned Michael Rodrigues. What about on the women's side? Has a winner established themselves for you yet?
Well, Alyssa Spencer is looking really, really good. But, yeah, no, I'll go with her. Yep.
I'm going to throw Sarah Baum in the question.
Wow.
She's really, I think if she can keep her head strong, make sure she gets the backup scores to the 8-point ride she's already dropping, she's looking real solid and unbeatable out here.
Man, that would be a massive win. And she's also trying to shore up her position on the Challenger Series for obviously the remaining 6 events. So that would be glorious. What about on the men's side for you, Shannon?
Emrod's looking unbeatable, but with that performance from Arkau, I don't know. Maybe battle of those two.
I guess what we do have, though, is we've got the opportunity for new names to rise above and get themselves to the top order of the Challenger Series. Caitlin Simmons, for me, on the women's side, is looking so deadly. On the men's side, I think you can just throw a dart at the heat draw and you know, whoever it lands on has a good chance of winning. So we'll just have to wait and see and watch it all unfold. But the competition will resume tomorrow. We'll be down here first thing, first light once again. We'll leave you with highlights of today and we'll see you first thing.
Stay tuned, watch. Stay tuned, watch. Garments. Get out my way, I'm gonna make my move. When I play the game, I never lose. What to wear today, it be hard to choose. You know how we play, I like to break the rules. I'ma tell you like this. Geronimo playing, I'ma jump on the beat. You know how I step in, that's really concrete. I didn't mean to, but I'm blowing your mind. The further you fall, the higher you climb. I'm up 24 like a gym membership. I kill and I leave evidence. You be big mad, so sue me, no settlement. You are out of gas on irrelevant. Get out my way, I'm gonna make my move. When I play the game, I never lose. What to wear today, it be hard to choose. You know how we play, I like to break the rules. Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned, watch. 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 Nah, for real.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.